Hello, it's Jacqueline with Creative Paper Crafting with Jackie. Oh, it's looking a little dark. Let me try to see if I can get the lights to brighten up just a little bit. Let me see. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. It's kind of dark on the end. Let me bring this one light over a little bit more. It's weird. Sometimes it's so bright in here and sometimes it seems dark. Okay, I hope everybody is having a good evening. There we go. See if that's better. Okay. I hope everybody's having a good evening. It's Wednesday evening, and my name is Jacqueline, and I'm with Creative Paper Crafting with Jackie, and this is a MyBesties image. I think it's called My Heart Shoe. My Heart Shoe. So cute. I do have a link on my page. I'm just trying to bring up. There we go. Just trying to bring up my phone so I can see if you guys make any comments. I hope everybody's having a good evening. I do have, this is from Sherry Baldy of MyBesties. And I do have her page. Let me put that out for you guys. Let me get that somewhere. I just got off work, so I'm a little bit rushed. I'm sorry. I think here it is. Here it is. Oh, nope, it's not. Oh, gee. Well, it's Sherry Baldy from MyBesties. And I normally have a paper for you guys. And I'm sorry I don't have it out. I was rushing from work. I teach. And I was at work all day. And I rushed home. So I am so sorry. But we'll get started. We'll get started. And I'll put the link on my page to the shop. It's called MyBesties Shop. So we'll get started. Such an adorable image. So here we go. And I hope everybody's having a good evening. I am going to go ahead and do her face first tonight. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. And the colors I am using are, let me tell you. Here we go. Okay. So it's R20, R30, and then I have E00, E01, and E11. Hi Sharon, how are you? I hope you are okay. I had a printout of the web page, but I don't know. I rushed from work, so I'm a little bit disorganized. I didn't want to be late. I teach college, and this week we have professional development, and we have to also register students. So I was rushing around registering students, but when we register students, if they have, we call them holds. If they owe money, they need shots, whatever it is, there's a reason they can't register, and we have to track it down. Of course, nothing is simple. We have to track it down and figure out why they can't register. So I started with the E00 first. And I am working my way to the darker colors on the face. Now when I color hair, I actually do it the opposite. But you do what works for you. So this is the E01. I just think she's so adorable. And then I have my E11, which is my darkest color. And I'm doing this around her hair. And I'm going to go back and forth a couple of times here. And she actually has her shoulders and her arms showing. And I'm going to do those too, but I'm doing her face first. And if anybody wonders why I have a marker, it's so that the image does not get stolen. People are concerned, you know, that images are getting stolen, and we don't want to contribute to that. Now I'm doing her cheeks in this darker color, the E01, then I'm going to pull it out with the E00, and I'm doing that just to kind of give her a little bit of depth before I do her blush. So there we go. And she looks a little dark at the moment, but when I do her hair, it'll lighten her up. Let's see. somebody asking, hi there, what markers? Oh, I'm using Copics. Kathy, I'm using Copics tonight. Some nights I use my Spectrum Noirs, and some nights I use Copics. I kind of flip back and forth because I like them both, and I go back and forth between the two so that I feel like that kind of, that way whatever one you have, I'm using. You know, I'm trying to show people that you can use whatever kind of markers you have. So I try to use both to encourage you just to get them out in color. And you can even mix them together because alcohol markers work well together. So you can mix them together too. You don't have to be worried about that. Now for her lips, I'm doing VO5. I always think that's so funny, VO5, because that's a shampoo that's very popular here in the States. It's Azalea. And so that's what I'm doing on her lips. Now sometimes I do the top lip and the bottom lip slightly, two different shades, but see, her lips are quite small. So I'm just going to use the one color because it's going to kind of match her clothing. And I don't know if I need to come closer or if you guys can see okay. Trying to catch up with the comments. Okay, and then so for her eyes, I'm actually going to use, and the colors are quite different from each other, really. A B28 and a B12. So I'm going to use these two colors on her eyes. So I'm going to take the B28, and I'm taking off both lids because with the Copics, they're pressurized, and sometimes you get big globs of ink. So that kind of helps so that you don't. So see, I just went around the sides of her eyes with the darker color, like that, and like this. And then I'm going to go with the lighter color around the bottom of her eye to give it some interest, I think. And there we go. Now I love brown eyes. But I just think on this image, the blue is so pretty. So there we go. I'm just kind of going back and forth so it blends in together a little bit right in here. There we go. I just think the blue, her blue, I don't know, it's kind of sort of stunning. And there we go. I'll just use my gel pen right here. A little bit right there. And these gel pens are wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to take this marker and kind of put it up there, and we're going to work on her skin right here, her arms and her legs and her chest. And let me see if there's any comments. So there's Kathy and Sharon online. All right. And if I don't call your name, it's because unless you say something, I don't know you're here. And I love to chit chat with people, so I hope that you comment so I know that you're here. Okay, so I'm going to do the rest of her skin. So I'm going to use the E000, the E11, and the E01. And I'm going to kind of go back and forth a little bit. So first I'm just using the E000 to really wet my paper. And to do, see her chest, and here. There we go. And then I'm going to take the E01. I'm doing her fingers. She's just so pretty. Oh my goodness, I just love her. Actually, these images are all, they're just all so delicate and pretty. They all have very pretty faces. Even the animals, if you look, they're just so whimsical. I guess that's how you would put it, whimsical. So I'm going to take my E00 and just kind of go back and forth a little bit between the two colors until I'm happy. And I think it takes at least 2 coats to really define your little people, your characters that you're working on. So just kind of layering. I'm doing underneath by her chin and a little bit on her shoulder over here and down her arm just a bit. Sorry, I'm kind of talking to myself. Get a little quiet while I'm concentrating. And then back again. And you don't really want to blend it out. You're trying to push the color towards it because you want the definition. There we go. Like that. See, isn't she pretty? I just think that when you start putting color on the images, they just come alive. I just love them. If there's any questions, don't be afraid to ask them. Hi, Sandra. How are you? Don't be afraid to ask any questions, and I'll try to answer them. I'm just looking one more time for my paper, which I'm so shocked I don't have it because I always have. Oh, here it is. No, it's not. I don't know. I always have this paper, so I don't know what I've done with it. Like I said, I'm sorry. I came from work and kind of rushed here. We actually had some construction going on here at our house, and so I couldn't get down here to my craft room is in the basement, and I couldn't get down here to prep because there were people knocking down a wall. So this is W0, W00, W2, and W4. We're having we have a bedroom, and you have to walk through the bedroom to get to the basement, but we're having that changed so that you don't have to do that anymore, that the bedroom is more private. So we're having a wall knocked down and a new hallway put in. So I couldn't get down here to my craft room to prepare like I normally do. So I am so sorry, but I didn't want to cancel tonight. I wanted to get on. So I'm sorry if I'm a little bit out of sorts. And so I'm just using my warm grays on her boots. And I'm trying to keep track to see if anybody's asking any questions. Since the update, hi Gail, how are you? Since the update, my phone only does the messages like every few moments, a whole bunch of them rush by. The comments, rather. It's kind of strange. But that's what happened when my phone updated. So, I saw Gail was doing turtles, and they were so adorable. I love them. I love seeing what everybody does. If you follow my page, if you like my page, right? If you follow me and you haven't liked me, please like me. I'm trying to get my numbers up. And if you're on my page, please post what you're working on, because I love watching and seeing what other people do too. I don't want to just see my things. I want to see your things too. So I'm using the W0. Yeah, I love to see what people are working on. So please post whatever you're working on. I love these boots. I was in the military myself. These boots always just remind me of those days. So I love these boots. Like combat boots. When I was in the military, my feet are so small. It's about the only thing on me that's small. They had to special make my boots. And my hat. They had to special make my hat. And I had a boyfriend once tell me that my feet were so small that if I got very big, I'd tip over. But if he saw me now, he'd be wondering, how do you stand up? Because I'm not small now. Aren't guys wonderful? Anyway, so these just kind of remind me of my old combat boots. So, and here we go. And just kind of go back over them and until you're happy. And then sometimes after I've colored, I go back again and work on things a little bit more. Never be afraid to go back and forth on your images. I do see, I forgot to do her little leg right here, and just a little hint right there. So do not worry about going back and forth on your images until you are happy. There's no, nobody telling you how many times you can layer and not. I'm just kind of going over her shoelaces again. There we go. I don't know, I just think, so pretty. Okay, so let me see if there's any comments, any questions. I hope she designs more turtles. Yes, I hope she does. Actually, Sherry Baldy, she's prolific, really. She has so many. If you look on her website, she just has so many images. It's unreal. I find it amazing how many that she has. Okay, so we are going to do, I'm going to do her little trousers next. So I'll just get out my colors that I'm going to use on that. And I am going to use, let me pull them out, V09, the V06, and I have, let me grab it, get the right one. Pretty sure I had one more that was lighter. I took my markers out of the craft room just in case I couldn't get back down here with the workmen here, because you just never know. When you're having things done, you never know how it's going to be. All right. So, I guess there's no comments. I was trying to see if I had any, but I don't see any. And I'm doing her, what I did is, see, I love this paper. It's something I had gotten at Tuesday morning, so I was using this for the color scheme. So that was my idea. So that's kind of the colors I'm going with. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to use my V06 first. Or, I guess it's not V06, it's V09, isn't it? V09, which is violet. I'm just doing the creases right here with her pants. And I'm trying to be, I'm pretty heavy-handed, so I'm trying not to be. So I'm just kind of right in here. I'm going to do her little waistband. There we go. There we go. So is everybody that has children happy that school started back? And they have their homes back during the daytime. Of course, oh hi Dawn. Of course, oh hi Jackie, how are you? Most people probably work, and so whether your children are out of school or not probably doesn't matter as much. I was so happy to be home over the holidays that going back to work has been rather a challenge, but that's okay. Like I said, this week we are just enrolling students and tracking down. It's our students that didn't get enrolled on time, and the reason they didn't get enrolled on time is there's some sort of problem, and we got to track down the problems. And that's always fun. So I am heavy-handed, so I'm trying to be very light. That was my V06. Then I'm going to go in with a lighter color. I'm going to go in with my V01. And like I said, I'm taking both ends off so I don't hopefully have a big glob. I'm just blending a bit. I'm just kind of pulling the color. And I'm going to go over this a couple of times so that it blends a little bit better. It looks a little harsh when you're first doing it, I know. But then when you get all your colors in, it pulls it together. So there we go. Just kind of a little flick here and a little flick there. Could be a song, couldn't it? And I'm looking for my V05. What did I do with it? And I know I have it because I talked about it. Did anybody get on last night to Dawn's party? She had a wonderful party last night. I don't know if anybody's on. I think Jackie was on. She had her 1,000-member party, which is wonderful that she had so many people. It's wonderful that how people follow us, and I really appreciate everybody that follows me, and I thank you for that. I am just taking my marker and I'm marrying it together so that I can bring this color out just a little bit. See, I'm just kind of flicking it. I'm just taking the darker color and combining it with my lighter color. There we go. And I do that because I don't have a color that's in between. So you can make your own color by doing that. It's similar to, you know, when you're watercoloring and you blend colors together off to the side. It's really similar to doing that. So that is what I'm doing. There we go. See, and that kind of helps create a shade that I don't have. And then I'm just going to pull it through. Sorry if my head's in the way. There we go. Nope. Trying to keep my paper in this one spot. So there we go. See? And that kind of gives you a third color if you don't have it. I'm just making sure I have my markers put back together right. And I will probably go over this again after it dries a bit. And if you see your colors coming through, and that's what you want. You want it to come through. If anybody follows Jamie Clark from Sweet Sentiment, she explains it really well, that you want your color to come through because then it's not bleeding out. It's going through your paper correctly. Anyway, she's a wealth of knowledge if anybody looking for someone to follow. Okay, so that was her trousers and her boots. And then I'm going to do her little shirt, which I just think is so pretty. It's so delicate. And I am going to use RV13, RV11, and RV02. And I might use a touch of my RV23. And I'm just going to put these other markers kind of away because I know it's taking up a lot of room. There we go. And I'm just going to check and see. Yes, Dawn's party was fun. That's what Jack... Oh, hi, Fatima. How are you? Yes, Dawn's party was a blast. It was very nice. Very, very nice. And she grew to 1,000 people very quickly. It was wonderful. So I'm using my RV02. So just going on the inside here. Yeah, she grew to 1,000 people very quickly, which is wonderful. And she deserved it. She's very, very talented. And Gail, my gosh, I think Gail has like 3,000 people. I'm not sure, but I really do think that Gail might have about 3,000 people on her page. I don't know if she's still on or not. And then Sharon has a lot of people on her page. I think hers might be in the thousands. I'm still growing. I'm still working hard to grow my page. So if you follow me and you haven't liked me, please like me, because I have about 100 more followers than I have likes. So if you follow me, please like me. And if you're new here, I so appreciate you. I'm having a drawing myself when I reach 500 people. So now I'm going in with my R21. Just kind of, there we go. Make sure I'm putting this on correctly, because I notice, see, this is R21, but my lid says R13. So I want to make sure I'm putting the right things together here. You can tell I rushed from work. Now I'm going to take my lighter color here and just kind of pull this out a little bit. Now next week I start teaching all day. This week is our professional development and registering students. So this week it's a lot of work. A lot of office type work. I actually run to my department, so I'm quite busy doing all the administrative type stuff. There we go. So I'm just pulling that down, and I'm going to do 2 coats. I'm looking for my RV13 because clearly I have the wrong lid here. I'm sorry if you hear some stomping upstairs. Do you guys hear that? I'm facing the iPad wrong, so I'm not seeing comments. Oh. I use an old phone so I can see comments while I'm coloring because it's small. Whereas an iPad for me it's bigger, and my space here is really little. So that's why I use an old phone. But I got to remember always to keep the volume down. All right, so I'm just kind of flicking and pulling that through. And then I'm going to take my R22, kind of give it a little bit of definition. Here we go. I am slowly buying my Copics. I buy a few a month. And then that's why sometimes I blend my own colors together. And it works. It's fine. I'm hoping I can one day have a whole set. I call it my 3-year plan. And I'm in year 2. So one day I will have them all. There we go. Just a little bit more. There. Okay. So now I am going to do, actually I am going to do her hair before I do her ribbon. Now, I found her hair a little challenging because, see, she has like loop-de-loops on her hair. So I did find that a little challenging. So I am using E71, E74, and E79. And I'm going to look and see if I have it close by. I have one more that I like to use. But like I said, I couldn't get down in my craft room because of having this wall knocked down, so I feel kind of I was displaced today. So I actually go lighter to darker when I do hair, and everybody does it differently. Some people do dark first, but I like to go light first. So I'm just flicking it, and see her headband is right here. See, she's got a headband. So I'm trying to be careful and not get on her headband. See how she has one piece of hair, a wispy hair, but I don't want to get into the headband. And I am going to turn her. Sorry. I know it makes people kind of dizzy, and I don't mean to do that. I don't know if you can hear that. See, I'm flicking. And so there's kind of a sound to it. And I'm coming up here where her hairband, or ponytail band, I think Dawn was looking for that word last night. I think she said bobble, which there are baubles, right? Little girls wear baubles. These dolls have so much detail to them. That's what makes them so beautiful, I think, is all the detail. It makes it fun to color too. And you can get coloring books by Sherry Baldy. So some people, they don't make cards, they like to do the coloring books. So then I did the lighter one. So then I'm going to do the medium, and I don't go quite as far out, see, as I did. And I'm flicking. So I don't go quite as far out as I did with the lighter one. Just kind of flicking. And I do a couple of coats as I'm doing this. And a couple of coats. I had kind of a frustrating day. I teach students that do not speak English. You know, they come here to learn English, and I go with them when they enroll usually and help them through the process. And one of them, she paid for her class in full, which is unusual. And we asked, is this it? Yes, that's it. Well, when I went to enroll her today, I couldn't enroll her because they said she owed money. So I tracked it down. Why? Because I was with her and they said, you know, she had paid in full. Well, they had forgotten to add on a fee, a $15 fee, and they put a hold on her account. And until that was paid, she couldn't enroll. And we're desperate for students. So I went over there and I paid that because that was our school's error. I found that very frustrating. I was quite unhappy with them about it. So I'm venting to you guys. I found that very frustrating. So now I'm going back with the medium color. I'm just kind of pulling it out a little bit more. But our enrollment, I live in Indiana, our enrollment is really down in Indiana. People are moving and leaving Indiana. So the number of students at all colleges, not just our college, is down. So anyway, I just found that frustrating and I wanted to vent to somebody. So I'm venting to you guys. There we go. Okay. Now hair can be very challenging. You just, it's something you just have to keep practicing with. And don't give up. Just keep practicing. And it'll come. I mean, I'm still working on it. I'm not saying I'm doing it phenomenal job here. I'm just saying you got to keep practicing. Never give up. Find a little bit of time to color every day. So I'm just going to pull this out a little bit more. A little bit more. I kind of try to go back in and do little fine lines. Just little flicking lines. Like that. To kind of... There we go. There we go. I love brunette hair. Dawn did a fabulous job with blonde hair last night. There we go. Now I'm going to take my V09 and just do her hair bands over here. Normally I do shade them, but this is quite small, so I'm just doing it with the V09. Okay, so now I'm going to do her ribbon, but I see something I missed. I missed her skin right here. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to go in and do her headband. And with her headband, I actually did it a little bit darker than her smock. So I used this RV 14. And then I used the RV 13. And I used my RV 02. I felt like, I don't know, I always feel like it should be just slightly different, in the same family, but a slightly different shade. Just for some added interest. That's why I do it. Okay, and I see a piece of hair that I missed. So I go back in. Do her little strand of hair. There's one right there. As you color, you'll see things that you miss. It's okay to go back in. So RV 11, which matches our number of viewers. We have 11 viewers, so there we go. Of course, a lot of people watch on the replay. I always kind of keep track of my numbers on the replay. And I am going to be changing my Wednesdays times because my little one will be having a doctor appointment every other Wednesday in the city that is about an hour away from us. So I will be changing. I think I'm going to be going, I'm trying to figure out the time right now to what time I should go to. So I'm just kind of blending together some of my colors again. So I'm trying to work out the times. I'm going to be going to Sunday at 3, I believe. Sunday at 3, every other Sunday. So I'm trying to figure out another day to do it during the week. And I'm on Friday, the viewership is pretty low, so I'm debating whether to keep the Friday or if I should do it a different time. So if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to give them to me, and I will, you know, I love to hear what you guys' thoughts are on the times. I work during the day. You gotta keep that in mind. I'm not home during the day. So kind of keep that in mind when you have some suggestions. But it's hard to find a good time for everybody. There we go. Okay. And then I am going to do her little heart to match her little barrettes up here. Or I guess it's hair bands. There we go. Now, I am going to take my pencils. Right here, my Prismacolor pencils. See, she has flowers around. And I printed her at, I believe, 2.5. So she's 2.5, so she's kind of small. So it made it very small in here to get to with my markers. And I need a better pencil sharpener. My pencil sharpener isn't sharpening them very sharp. But I thought I would use my Prismacolors to do her flowers, because it's such a small space. So that is why I'm doing that. And everybody uses, I don't know what kind of pencil sharpener people are using. I know people use an electric one. Mine's not electric. Mine's a little manual one. So if you have a good suggestion of a pencil sharpener, share that. I've had my Prismacolors for years, but my pencil sharpener is not that great. So if you have a suggestion, let me know. Now sometimes I mix my Prismacolors with my markers for shading. But this time I'm just doing the flowers. And I wanted to do them green. And this is Rouge Carmine and Rose. So just going in. I'm just kind of doing it in a circle. Oh, they're back here too. And then just kind of blending it. I see I missed some leaves. I'm going to go back in and get my leaves. There we go. Little flower back here and one back there. And don't be afraid to mix what you're using when you do cards. You don't have to just use markers. You can go back and forth. I'm just doing the centers in the darker color. There you go. Coming in, I see a couple of leaves over here. There we go. And then with my lighter color, like that. And I see a little spot there. I almost need a magnifying glass. There. I just think she is so pretty. And I'm taking my grays, and I used warm gray here, but I'm using cool gray for the shadow. So I'm just kind of going in like this. And then taking this one. I'd love to have my combat boots now. I gave them to my sister-in-law when I got out of the service. She was she rode motorcycles, and so she wanted them for protection. Okay, so there we go. There she is. I just think she's so pretty. Now, a lot of times I go back in and touch up the skin a little bit, but now we're going to assemble the card. And I'm doing a 6x6 card. And this is the paper. It's something I had picked up at Tuesday morning. It was a pack of paper. I just thought it was so pretty. And they're cards, like cardstock. I just thought they were so pretty. And I thought, I'm going to use those with my cards somehow. And so that's the color scheme I was trying to go for. So we're going to assemble this card. So this is a 6x6 card, and I like to use art glitter glue. This is what I use, and my pen's pretty bent up. I've ordered new ones. I love art glitter glue. It is just, I don't know, it's thin, and it gives you an opportunity to move your paper around. That's why I use it. I just love it. And I order mine from maymade.com is where I get mine. But the pins on top are special, that they don't rust. And every once in a while, maybe once a year, you have to order new pins. So here we go. There's our pink. So this is 6x6, and then I made this about a quarter, or no, really 1/8 of an inch. I think that's what I measured it, 1/8 of an inch smaller. So, and Dawn gifted me a cutter that has better measurements on it than the one I have, so I really appreciated that. I try to use everything that anybody ever sends me whenever I craft. Okay, so now I'm going to take, I went ahead and matted this, but I was going to kind of rough up the edges. This is something I got years ago from Cricut. It's got like a razor blade in it to kind of rough up the edges just a little bit. Kind of helps it, like, I don't know, bend, give it a little bit of fluidity. Oh. You know what I'm trying to say. Alright, so I'm going to put that on here, and then I'm going to use Fun Foam on the back to raise it up. So I'm going to just mat it, and again I did about 1/8 of an inch for my matting. I didn't know if you wanted to see me actually cut. I didn't think you'd find that very interesting. So I'm going to use Fun Foam on this to prop it up. So let me just get that out. I have that. Just a second. I don't know if you've ever used Fun Foam or not. It's just something you can get like in the kids section, and it's cheaper than using adhesive, and it gives it a little bit more height. So I just cut out some. It doesn't have to be real pretty. Now you can actually, if you have an electronic die cutting machine, then you can actually cut these out with that. I have really a manual one, so it would be a lot of work. So I'm just putting glue, and I'm doing this to just give it some height. I wanted it to have a little bit of height. You're not really going to see this door when we get done with this. I'm just going to put this about right there. And then I have a doily that I actually colored with my markers. And so I'm going to about like, let's bring that down to about here. So about here. So this door is going to be covered up when I get done. So there we go. There we go. So you're really not going to see that. And then I have my image here, and I did cut out a mat for it as well. But see how you're really not going to end up seeing that door when we get done layering. Let me see. All right. Just looking, so I moved everything out of my way here. Okay, so we're going to put this right here. But before we do that, I do have this piece of lace that I'm going to put underneath, right like this. And I have a couple of fans. Let me show you what I did. I have a couple of, well, it's not a couple of fans, it's one fan. Let me get that. Okay, here's the fan. And I thought I would put that underneath here. See, it's coming together. And I have, let me see what I've done with my mat. Okay, I had a mat and I don't know what I've done with it. So we are going to cut this. I'm not the best at cutting, so we'll see how I do. Instead of using my rotary cutter, we'll see how I do. Like so. I'm not, I don't think I have the steadiest hand, but that wasn't too bad. Alright, so let's put the art glitter glue on here. And I'm just going to, and I just eyeballed that, but actually I had a piece that I had cut perfectly. But I felt like it, you know, it needs, since I'm doing a mat, it needed the mat. Okay, so I actually, this is, here we go. So like this. We're going to put this one on. I'm just taking my glue, and this was an Anna Griffin die. I have a whole set of fan dies, but this one had little hearts on it, and I just thought that was perfect. So I'm going to put this one right here, and then I'm going to put her on the top. So you see, you really can't even see the paper that inspired me at the get-go, but that's okay. The more layers, the more fun. For Valentine's cards, I don't do this, all this for my regular cards. So we're going to have her off to the side, but we're going to put on this piece of lace. And what I use for that is this Fabric Fusion by Aleene's. And I just get this at our local, we have a small fabric store here in town. Although I don't know how much longer it's going to be here, but we have a small fabric store, and that's where I got this from. The only thing is, this is really like strong, so you got to put it on kind of quickly. So I'm just putting it across, and see, it's I have to rub it off my hands. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to put her on, and then we're going to put some flowers around. And then I actually am going to pop her up. I think, I don't know, Valentine's cards lend themselves to being a little more foo-foo-y than regular cards. So it's kind of fun to be girly with these cards. So I'm going to pop her up. Let me get my foam out. Here we go. Now, if you were to mail this, you might not want to do quite so many layers or use bubble wrap to put over the top of your card. That's what I often do. Or you can make a little box to mail it. I just think it's fun to have the, I don't know, Valentine cards a little bit more foo-foo-y. So here we go. Okay. This, it's the glue is kind of stuck to my fingers, so kind of got on here. So I put this off to the side just a little bit. See, now she's this is really layered, but I just think it's so fun. Now, I have these flowers, and like I said, anytime anybody sends me something, I so appreciate it. So I use everything that people send me. And these flowers, Sharon sent me. She sent me these flowers and buttons. And so I just thought they were so pretty. So that is what I'm going to use. And then I made a sentiment, someone special. So I am going to put the sentiment maybe there. So we kind of want to, I wasn't sure if I was actually going to use the sentiment. Now I use this glue. And like I said, it's kind of stringy, so you got to be a little careful. So I use this glue because it really makes things stick. Now you could use your glue heat gun. You could use that. That would work too. It's just that I find this really convenient to use. Just kind of put my flowers around, and it will stick. And I think I'm going to put one over here. See how the glue, see it gets stringy. It gets very, very stringy. And I have to go back in with my scissors and remove all that string. So like one there. So see, now I could pop those up too, and that'd be pretty. And let's do, I'm not even paying attention to my comments, I'm sorry. Two-part. Jacqueline, Odell, and Dawn will inspire you. That they are wonderful. Oh, thank you, thank you. We have a good team. We have several people that do lives. We have Gail Sue, Stamping with Gail Sue. She's like fabulous. Dawn G Designs, and we have the Noble Crafter. Sharon is the Noble Crafter, and then I'm Creative Paper Crafting with Jackie. And then Ivy's Craft Room. She's really good. I'm kind of thinking about her because she's in Puerto Rico, and they've had 2 earthquakes, so I'm a little worried about her. But there's several people that you can follow to be inspired by. And then there's other people, many other people to follow. Stephanie Huntley, she makes beautiful cards. Fatima, she makes lovely cards. So there's lots of people you can follow. Now you could prop these flowers up if you want. You don't have to have them flat. Let me see, kind of out of frame. Once you start putting your layers on, you kind of lose, like you don't really see the lace as much. But I don't know, I love having my Valentine cards be a little bit more foofy than my regular cards. So I'm going to pull out a little bit so that you can see. There we go. So you can see it. There we go. So you could pop the flowers up. You can have them down, however you want to do. And this glue it dries very quickly. Quick Dry Fabric Fusion and the Art Glitter Glue. That is what I use. And they're both fabulous. So, this is my card. And I just think she's so adorable. And see, the colors come together. Once you start coloring, at first her face seems so dark. But then when you get your other colors in, I don't know, it just pulls it together. And then you can always go back in and touch up the hair a little bit. I think once the alcohol ink dries sometimes, you kind of need to go back in. And so I often go back in afterwards and kind of play with it a little bit more. See, it doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't hurt anything to do that. Just to define it a little bit better. And that's okay. Sometimes I take a picture of my image and then I look at it through the photo and think, oh, I need to do this or that, and I will do it. So don't be afraid to like go back over your images anywhere you want. See, like you can touch up the cheeks a little bit more, bring out the pink a little bit more. I'm going to kind of define her eyes just a little bit more right there. See, it's fine. You can go back in. It's your image. go back in as much as you want. It is fine. There are no strict rules about it. So there she is. I hope that you enjoyed the live, and I certainly enjoyed talking to everybody. I was really bad about reading my messages tonight. I'm so sorry. I just was not good at it. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you very much. Everybody's been so wonderful. If you follow my page but you haven't liked it, please like it so I can get my numbers up. I'm trying to get them up, and I'm giving away a set of markers, set of Spectrum Noir markers when I reach 500. So a small set of Spectrum Noir markers, the earth tones. They're the, your earth tones are the most commonly used markers. So it's wonderful to get those. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you Friday night. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Thank you, Sherry, very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Gail.